Right, hi Chrissy and Chris. Not long now until Sprocket is going to be your lovely dog instead of our training dog. We've absolutely loved having him actually. My girlfriend doesn't want to let him go actually, that's how much we love him. Alright, so you've got a real special one here. He is a lovely dog. So it's going to be about another sort of 3 weeks actually now, just over 3 weeks until you have him. But obviously he's almost ready now. He's actually about a week away from being ready. I've just done this little video for you so you can have a little look at the things he's doing and also the commands that we're using for him. Alright, just to give you a little bit of a heads up, we will go over absolutely everything in real fine detail when I come over to you and deliver him. Alright, and you'll be able to obviously ask you as many questions as you like then, and we can cover everything in detail. But just for now, as I say, it's just a little heads up for you to have a little look at, just so that you can kind of, it's not being bombarded with information all in one day for you. Alright, but he is an absolutely lovely boy. He can be a bit of a cheeky chappy sometimes, I have to say. Sometimes when he thinks that he can play it out with you, he will. Alright, so we'll go over how to make sure we keep on top of that. Absolutely loves his ball, as you can see. Really sociable. Absolutely loves that the dog hasn't got a bad bone in his body, as you saw when I brought him up to see you, and how he kind of just basically shied away from everything that attacked him. Alright, but yeah, he really is a lovely dog. In the house, he's absolutely brilliant. He's got such a lovely personality. He's really kind of actually over the time, because at the beginning he wasn't overly sort of sociable towards people. I think I sort of spoke to you a little bit about this when I came to see you, but he was a bit he almost shied away from people a little bit because of the fact that I think they'd worked him and he just wasn't enjoying the work at all. And he almost saw people, especially when they got his ball out, which obviously I was trying to reward him with his ball and things, he kind of saw it as a negative rather than a positive. But now luckily, because we've come out and did loads of work with him, he's really enjoying himself now again, and he's kind of found his feet and he's starting to love us again now. And he's a sort of dog who will just sit by you of an evening. He'll sit under your feet. He's a really good footstool actually. He's one of the only dogs I've ever known where you can pop your feet on top of him and he doesn't actually move. Alright, so yeah, he's absolutely lovely. So just take a little look through the video. Don't worry if you don't understand any of it or anything. We'll go over it again, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Okay, we're going to go over a few of the house behaviours here, and one of those house behaviours is obviously sending him to his bed. We always send the dog to their bed when the guest comes in the house, or if we're eating our dinner is the other one. Okay, I mean you can send him there for literally anything. If you just want to if you've had enough of him, for instance, you can just send him to his bed. Okay, and the command we use is just bed, basically. Very simple. We're also going to give a hand signal like this, just to send him to his bed. Alright, good boy. Bed. Do a little circle first one on frogs. Good boy, that's what we're looking for. Obviously he's laid down now, which is what we wanted. You just go over there and settle down now, and he stays on there until we've given him the release command. And the release command is okay, but obviously giving him a much more positive tone. I'll sort of do that for you now. Alright, but the idea is that he should stay there until you told him to come off. Okay, so okay, and then he can come off. Alright, there we are. He's obviously trained up to get upstairs as well. We've been over that a little bit when I came to see you last time. Alright, so hopefully he'll just retain that with you guys. We'll just run through a little bit if he doesn't anyway. Going into the kitchen and things like this. Obviously we train the dog to leave food as well, so if you're reaching into the fridge and then accidentally dropped a couple of things on the floor, alright, no. Alright, we obviously want the dog to leave it like that, alright. Just to make sure that he does. Good. Excellent. And also hopefully with your little one as well, that he won't obviously take food from their hands, but we can discuss that a little bit as well when we deliver it. He takes the food nice and gently from your hand as well. Alright, so there you are. Okay, so one of the things we also teach is an out command. Alright, so that's teaching the dog to basically go out of the kitchen or out of any room that you didn't want them in. Alright, that's obviously useful when you're cooking and things, to not have the dog under your feet. Alright, so just going to do that with him now. Obviously the command is just out, and I'm going to use a directional hand as well. Okay, out. Good boy. Good boy. Out. Good boy. Good boy. Excellent. Good boy. Just going to reward him there a little bit. Good boy. Good boy. If you wanted him to come back in afterwards, we would use the release command, just exactly the same ones we did with the bed. Alright, now telling him that he's free to do what he wants again. So, okay. And now he can come back in. Okay, so we're about to take him out for a walk now. Alright, and actually, Sprocket's really good because actually just present the lead to him, he does actually go into a sit anyway, but we're always going to make sure the dog goes into a sit before we take them out and put the lead on. It just makes things simpler, obviously, so you're not fighting with them to put the lead on them. Okay, Sprox. Good boy. Alright, so he's really good for that one. Obviously, nice and calm, putting the lead on him there. Alright, and then away we go. We're actually expecting him to sit there then until we've given him another command, which is obviously going to be heel, because we're going to walk him out the door at heel now. Alright, and we'll just go from there. Heel. Heel, good boy. Good boy. It's obviously not pulling me out the door or anything, which is lovely. Okay, and we'll just talk a little bit of heel work here. Right, okay, so the heel work. You're going to get one of these leads actually when you take him. And one of the reasons for that is that they're actually really good for teaching people to where to hold the lead, okay, and also they're really good for the dog, so they get the right amount of distance on the lead. This lead here has obviously got a couple of loops on it as well, okay, so one there and sort of one near at the end. Whenever you hold the lead in your right hand, it'll be behind your back like this, okay, and you'll hold the furthest loop, okay, just like that. Alright, and whenever it's in the left hand, you'll hold the other loop, so it's just like that. Alright, and the way that the dog has basically been taught to walk to heel is that he's not to pull at all at any time, but also we're not looking for perfection in terms of the dog being bolt on your side all the time. Alright, we give him a little bit more freedom with that, and the reason for that is because it's much more realistic to maintain than it is having the dog basically glued to your side the whole time. So as long as I walk along with him and he's not pulling me, that's all that matters. Alright, so we're just going to walk him there. Obviously he walks absolutely lovely to heel, Sprocket, he's a good lad. Alright, there you go. So the dog always walks on the left hand side, okay? Always on the left hand side, so that it just basically there's no confusion then. Whenever you're walking to heel, the dog knows exactly where they are. So if you actually just take a look at my right hand, it's behind my back, sort of centre of the back, and then on that furthest loop, that gives him a little bit of range going forward and backward without him actually pulling you, okay? And obviously, as you can see, he's walking lovely beside me, but as I say, not completely like head bolted to my leg, but with a little bit of freedom, so he can kind of just maintain that position much easier for you. So if you do ever need to give him a correction, we're going to give the correction just using 2 fingers really, alright, and just basically just going to touch him or prod him basically, sort of in the side of the neck here, but just behind the collar, and just tell him that he's going too far. The command that we use is steady, alright, just going to demonstrate that for you now, alright, steady, good boy, steady, good boy, alright. Good. So whenever you think that he's obviously getting a bit too far ahead of you, or he's taking the neck a little bit, that's the correction you're going to give him. Alright, steady, just like that. Alright, and tell him he's going too far. But you also then use the steady command for when we're also stopping as well. So actually, what you should be able to do is just use the command steady rather than doing any touch corrections with him. Alright, so as you walk along with him and you're slowing down, for instance, so I'm just going to come up here and sort of pretend I'm going to go off the curb here. And obviously slow down. As I do, I will start saying steady to him. Alright? Steady. Steady. Good. Then we're going to want him to go into a wait here, which he's done anyway. Good boy, Sprock. But actually, we don't actually teach the dog to just automatically go into a sit on the curbs. But obviously, that's something that I can talk you through if you wanted to do that with them. As long as they do actually sit down when we tell them. And the sit command is this. Okay, it's your hand coming up in front of yourself. It doesn't matter if it's your left hand or your right hand or even both hands, okay? It's just this coming up basically like this, alright? And obviously he goes down. The command that we use is wait rather than sit, okay? And the reason for that is that a sit is a sit and a wait in one command. So I've asked him to, I haven't actually asked him to do anything here, but had I asked him to wait and he'd have done that, he would need to stay in that position until I'd given him another command. And that other command could have been heel, so we could have stepped off and walked to heel. Or I could have given him an OK command, which has obviously told him he can go and be free now. Alright, and we'll go over a little bit like that, a little bit more of that when we get to the park. We're just going to demonstrate here what you can do with them at heel. Alright, heel. Good boy, good boy. Good, so we're going to go up to turn around and go back past the curb again. Actually, I'll stop in the middle here and do a wait command with him. Sprocks. Wait. Good boy. Alright, so that's what we're looking for. Then obviously you can praise him. Good boy. Good lad. Now, if you want to do it in the other hand, you're now going to take it in your left hand and then hold the other loop. Okay, so the loop in the middle of the lead now. Alright, and you're going to walk him along from there. Heel. Good. So from this position now, what you can obviously do is you can give a correction like this if you wanted to. You can come across yourself like that and give him a correction if you wanted to. Or you can, and you're only going to use your voice as ready, so you'll just be steady. Steady, good boy, steady. If he's obviously going a bit too far, or you can just use the steady command. Alright, but he is an absolute gem on the lead anyway. He walks really, really calmly with you, so he's lovely. I mean, obviously in the long run, you're just going to hold him like this, alright, but he just sort of gives you an idea about how you can do it with both hands. If he was to ever actually get too far in the lead, so for instance, if he was to actually pull you from this position and he was to yank, which would be very unlikely, hopefully, but if he was ever to actually do that, what we're going to do is we're going to give him a big correction on the end of the line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend that Sprocket has basically pulled me to the end of the line, and I'm going to do what you would need to do. Alright, so as he comes in the line, you go, and you would pull him back in. Alright, and then you would start again. Alright, so he's obviously been taught that if he gets to the end of the line like that, that's the correction he's going to have. Alright, so all he needs to do is remain loose on the lead, and he'll be fine. And obviously you can praise as much as you like when he's walking like this, alright, because he's doing it right for you. Excellent. We're just going to head over to the car now. We're going to take him up the park. Excellent. Okay, Sprox, wait. Good lad. Good boy. Wait. Wait. Good boy. Wait. Okay. Good. So obviously then exactly the same thing as well. Put him into a wait. When I wanted him to get into the car, I gave him the release command, and that was okay. Obviously you could have said up, you could have said something else there, but if you wanted to specifically get him into the car, alright, but the okay for him, he wants to go for a walk so much that he obviously just wants to get into the car. Alright, he will actually just go in the car of his own accord. You don't have to put him into a sit or anything before you get into the car. He will just come up, you open the boot and he'll get straight in for you. Okay, he's got no issues about that at all. But if you want to be a bit more controlled, then obviously you can most certainly put him into the wait before you go in. Excellent, we'll go ahead at the park with him now. Okay, so obviously right at the park now, we're going to let him out of the car. The command that we're going to use is a no command, alright, so basically just no, basically tell him he can't come out of the car. So as I open the boot, I'm going to say no to him. He should then stay in the car until he's heard that release command again. It's all the same release command, alright, so it's always okay to let him release. Alright, so I'm just going to do it now. I'm also just going to just sort of wander around the car just to sort of show you that he'll stay in there no matter what. Alright, good boy. No. No. Good boy. No. If he wants to actually jump out there, obviously, without me telling him, I would have instantly put him back in the car, alright, started the whole procedure again. Alright, whenever the dog fails anything, you must restart it. I'm just actually going to put him on the lead here, because we're going to wander up there and just do a little bit of off the lead here with him as well. Alright, just so you can see, it's obviously popped the lead on now and he hasn't jumped out either, still waiting for that release command. Okay, and there it is. Alright, so out he comes. Alright, we're walking along this way. Same thing as before, alright, so obviously walking nicely to heel, even though we're in much more of a high distraction place now. Alright, lots of people around and things. I'm going to stop the lead down. The reason that we hold the lead specific in those places is that actually what we train the dogs to do is to effectively walk off the lead at heel at all times. But what you're doing obviously when you have them off the lead is you have the safety of the lead. So when you're on a busy street, for instance, what the lead's doing is it's giving you the safety, i.e. if he decides he was to bolt, if he saw God forbid something you want to bolt after, you still have to hold him, alright, but actually he's doing what he'd do if he wasn't on the lead, alright, because you're actually using touch corrections and your voice to control him. Alright, so as you walk him up here, what we'll be able to do is obviously just unpick him on the lead as well, and I'll expect him to do the same thing, heel, good boy. Right, so it doesn't actually matter really if the lead's on him or not. You'll still do the same correction, you'll still use your voice, you'll still use the touch, and you'll still be able to obviously slow him down with the word steady and things when you want to do a wait with him. Alright, so just demonstrate that now. So as you're walking along with him now, steady, steady, good boy, wait, good boy, so same thing there, heel, good. Alright, so we're just using the voice, you see, rather than the lead to actually give him the correction. If he was to, like tree there, if he was to actually go a little bit further, you still get the same correction as before, so you still get steady. Alright, and I just touch him there to let him know he was going too far. Alright, but as it is, he's walking absolutely perfectly, which is what we want. Alright. What, love?
Across the road.
Right. Look. Good boy. And wait. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Heel. Good boy. If you ever need to actually keep him in, we just open and close the hand a little bit. Alright, just to sort of remind him where he should be following. Alright, especially when he's off the lead. Just because when you're on the lead and you turn, the lead will naturally bring him round a little bit for you. Alright. So when you don't, the reason that they do that is because obviously he's been trained to walk on the lead, sorry, off the lead. So when you do that, he probably thinks you've got a reward for him. Alright. Rocks. Okay. Heel. Heel. Good boy. Good boy. So obviously when we come to the park, wait. Good boy. Okay. And then he goes from there. Okay, so whenever we put him into that wait, same thing again. I've asked you to sit and asked you to wait, and now that's finished. Okay, releases him to what he wants to do. Alright, I do obviously have his ball on me, so I'm playing with that with him in a minute, but just for a minute, I'm just going to let him have a little wander around and just explain sort of how we use his name and things. Whenever we do use his name, it needs to be given in a positive tone, okay? It needs to be given in a, let's just let him go off there without him doing it, like a Sprocket kind of way, alright? Just so if they're actually picking up on that eat sort of sound, which actually the dogs really respond to, alright? So whenever you do say his name, it needs to be given in that positive tone. So once he goes off in a minute, I'll just demonstrate it for you. Alright. Just wait, he's not looking at us obviously, because that won't do much for us. And then actually, when he does actually come back, I'm just going to reward him with his ball. Alright. Okay, good, and there's his ball for his reward. As I called him in, I literally sort of noticed what I did, but I basically opened my arms out, said his name and went, Sprocket, like that, and opened my arms out, and that basically tells him that I'm trying to call him in. Good. As he comes back, he's really good at giving the ball to you, but actually, the lovely thing about Sprocket as well, is he loves the game of tug as well, so I actually do a multitude of both. When he comes in and gives me the ball, I actually sort of almost reward him for bringing it back with a game of tugging. Alright, and if you ever want to just let him go, so let the ball go, you're just going to say leave him and he'll give it up. Alright, but we always expect the dog to bring the ball back. So just go throw it for him again there. Alright, never ever make the mistake of picking it up for him. Okay, he must bring it back. If he comes back and drops it halfway, that's not acceptable. Alright, you have to basically pick it up and bring it all the way. Even if you kind of walk up to it and then like offer your hand out for him to pick it up. Alright. There we are, so he's come all the way back, and then we'll just play a bit of tuggy with him. Good boy. Actually, when you're playing tuggy with him, you can actually let him win the tug, alright? And the more you play with him, the more the dog loves it, alright? So if you can be like, and really actually having a play with him like this, and then you can go, and you can pretend that he's won it, alright? Then he'll bring it back, and then you can do it again. As long as once you finish and you go leave, he actually leaves it. That's what we're talking about, alright? Then he can go off again and chase his ball. Otherwise he's off it, there we are. Good boy. Good boy, leave. Good. Right, so what I'm going to do is actually going to take the ball off of him there. And the reason for that is that we retain the ball as a ball reward for him, okay? So it's not just there for him to play with constantly. Although, if you obviously do want to bring him up to the park and just play with him, you can. Alright, but when you're bringing him somewhere, especially that's going to be unusual to him, where you're trying to remain a lot of control of him, you'll always retain the ball as a reward. It's not his to carry around, alright? It's yours to reward him with, alright? And in that way, if you ever need to do a recall with him, you need to do a sit with him, you need to do anything with him, you've always got something to reward him with, okay? So he's going to want to do it for you. That's the key thing. Also, obviously, the way we've specifically chosen him because of the fact that he is ball orientated, and it saves you taking out things like treats and things in order to actually reward him. So if he's doing these other dogs, for instance, and you're asking them to do things, you're constantly having to give them food in order to actually reward them for doing it, whereas this, you've constantly got the ball, never runs out, pop it in your pocket, and the dog absolutely loves it. Right, so he's also trying to do a recall on the whistle. We're going to do a bit of a whistle with him now. Alright, the really cool position on the whistle is used, I'm just going to show you the whistle in a moment. The whistle is a gun dog whistle, okay, so it looks like that. Alright, and we use these because they're very, very good at making a constant pitch, basically. And we pip the whistle, we pip it as a teet, teet, teet sound, okay, it's like a blasty sort of sound for the dog to respond to. This is to be used as a high distraction recall, so if the dog's in danger, he's running towards a road, or if he's in a big group of dogs and you need to get him back, this is the recall that you'll use, because actually the hardest thing about getting a dog back is getting his attention, not getting him to actually run in, but getting the dog's attention, and that's what the whistle does, okay? But you must always be in the recall position when you use it, alright? So the recall position is always this, alright? When you're in this position here, this is the recall position. So that when he looks back, you're in a completely different, you look completely different to him now, you're not stood up anymore, alright? So he knows that we are clearly doing a recall, alright? Good boy. So what is he going to do now? I'm just going to demonstrate him doing it. My girlfriend's going to run off and act as a distraction for him, and I'm going to pip him in, and then he'll come on in, alright? The way it'll look from my end is he'll be going out in front of me, I'll start pipping the whistle, teet, 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 As soon as he turns and looks, so as soon as his eyes set upon me, I'll stop the whistle, I'll throw my arms out like this to make it visual for him, and then I'll be going, come on then buddy, such a good boy, and praising him in. We praise them in from the moment they set eyes upon you to the moment they get back. Alright, so that's where you engage them the whole way back. So that means that if he's a much further distance from you, you start bringing him back in, and then another distraction comes in, he focuses all the way in rather than just getting distracted and peeling off. Alright, when he comes back in, I'm going to get his ball out and I'm going to reward him with his ball. Alright, so we're just going to see what it looks like now. Okay, so she's going to act as a distraction for me, just running him off here. Alright, and trying to get him excited, and I'll drop down and do the recall. Good boy, come on then bud! Such a good boy. So obviously he's come all the way back. Excellent recall, good boy. Then he gets his ball. Alright, there we are. Gets rewarded for it, brings his ball right back. We're going to do it a couple of times. I'll just play a game of Tuggy again with him here. Good boy. Oh, knocked the camera out of my hand. That was the ball knocking the camera out of my hand, not Sprocket. Good boy. And there we go. Excellent. So the recall's there for a high distraction. Alright, so when the name, sort of, especially when you can't say his name at a huge distance, we use the whistle instead. Alright, just going to hand the camera back now. The other time that we can use the whistle is when we want to do a follow. Right, and a follow is basically, it's not a danger anymore, but perhaps he's off doing something and you just want him to come along with you now. You know, he's walking down the field that way and you're walking this way and you think, well, he's dropped a bit too far here. Alright, or you can't see him, you're in the woods and you can't see him, but you just need him to follow. You can be using exactly the same way. What you would do in that scenario is you would pick the whistle, okay, but you would run and you wouldn't actually get down your knee and you'd recall him in that way. Alright, let me just find the keys over there. That would have been funny, these are my car keys. So what you would have done in that scenario, he'd have been going that way, and what you'd have done is you'd have been running off this way, hitting the whistle, looking at him though, and as soon as you got his attention, remember all the whistle's there to do is to get the dog's attention. As soon as he looks up and you've got his attention, you stop the whistle and you run off. Okay, you don't actually have to sort of run, especially you can just make it look like you're running. Alright, as long as it's exciting and he wants to basically follow you on. Alright, let's just walk him this way. Okay, so if you need to bring him back to heel, because obviously he walks off the lead at heel, but if you need to bring him back to heel, you're going to first say his name to get his attention, and then you're going to bring your hand back. So from this position, he's in front, you would say heel, and you would bring your hand back to this, into like this sort of position here. You can go like that and bring him in. The reason for that is we've used a treat there to bring him back. So we basically are showing him that that's where the treat was. Alright, but now actually instead of giving him the treat, once he's completed the heel work, we're going to reward him with his ball. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to walk up the field this way, and I'm just going to show you how it's done. Alright, as he just walks off in front of us, which you can't bother with now because it's a bit warm, isn't it? It's rocks. Right, so we're just going to use his name first. Rocket! Good boy, heel. Good, so when he comes to heel, good boy. Just like that. I think he actually still thinks there's a treat there, so he's opening his mouth to have a treat. Oh, good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good lad. Good boy. So remember what I said, we're actually going to use the ball as a reward this time. Everything's the same as it was before with the heel, so I'm going to use the steady command as I slow down now. Good boy, steady. And wait. Good. Wait, good boy. Okay. And then he can have his ball. Alright. Again, so much simpler to reward a dog with a toy than it is to constantly food reward. That's going to be beyond now to doing a sit and down with him. So now it's a good example actually, because he's dropped his ball, look. Alright, and we're not to pick it up, and he's actually, there we go. He's already realised that he has dropped it and needs to pick it up. Alright. So remember what your sit command is, that's to come up like this, or your sit and your wait. Okay, we're going to use wait instead of sit with him, he's already got into it now, so let me say it. Alright, but the reason that we use wait is because it is just a sit and a wait in one command basically. Alright, you don't need to use two commands, or one will do, just always just wait. Alright, just like that. From that wait position now though, I would release him with the okay, and he can come out, and I would throw his ball for him there. Or equally, we can do a down with him. Now a down is when you basically push the floor like that and you give the down command, just the word down, alright? Sprocky, down. Good, just like that, alright? So now instead of saying down and then stay and wait, you would just be saying down, 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 down. And from that position, you can release him with the okay, alright? Say okay, and away he goes, and he can have his ball. And that's when he comes around. The tired he gets, the more less likely he is to kind of bring his ball all the way back in sometimes. He's like, I've had enough, it's way too hot out here, I can't be bothered to bring the ball back anymore. But we must always make sure that we bring it back. And the reason that we use a ball and a rope with him is because it's much easier to play with it yourself, in terms of like throwing it around for him. Also, as he comes back, you just reach underneath his mouth and you take the rope instead of the ball, and it allows you to play that tuggy game with him. But it also just stops you from obviously going all the way into his mouth to get the ball and using that leave command if you ever want him to give it up. Alright, but as I say, he does love to have to play tuggy with you as well. Alright. Good boy, Pushers. Good, ready? Come on in. 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 Boy. Good. Good. Oh, look at boy. I think that's enough for your ball, mate, because it's a bit warm.